Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to Ways Breakfast, the show where we spark real conversations that matter. Today, we're tackling a question that's both bold and necessary. Is male feminism enough to address gender-based violence? I'm your host, Goodness Ide, and it's beautiful to be back here on Seat. Surely you know I don't do this breakfast show alone. I have with me my co-anchors, Okikiola Jalukmo and Triumph Akimboye. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good
Are you?
morning. Good morning here.
Good
Yeah, it's.
morning. How are you doing, Goodness?
I'm doing well. It's beautiful and nice having you to speak to you via that Zoom. Trust your day waking up this morning was a great one.
Yes, it was fine for me. I'm not, at my best, but I'm grateful, grateful for good health. I mean, I was just saying it yesterday that in everything, just be grateful that you're having a good health because you never can tell how worse it's going to be. So for me, I'm doing great, and I'm glad that I am here, right?
Okay, what about Okiki?
Yeah, I think I completely agree with Triumph. You just have to be grateful for life. Yesterday, I kept on repeating, even if it doesn't go as planned, God is still God. I know Nigerians were quite religious, but
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things that has helped us so far in this our 65 years of existence. So, yes, even if it doesn't go as planned, God is still God.
Yeah, whatever situation one finds himself or herself, God is still God. It doesn't change. All right, so if you're tuning in for the first time, this is a show that talks about everything that concerns you. Yes, it's a waste breakfast. Remember, you're the main ingredient in all our conversations. And now, here is why this conversation is so timely. According to HealthWise Nigeria, a local NGO plans to train 10,000 men feminists. I'm going to take that again. According to HealthWise Nigeria, a local NGO plans to train 10,000 male feminists. That's a whole large number, to lead community campaigns against gender-based violence. That sounds promising, right? But it also makes us ask, is male feminism by itself enough to end violence against women and girls? I want to hear from you, our views. Our phone lines are open. Please call us in 0702 500 or 0701 4242420. If you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV, click the subscribe button now, like and share the link. Tune in to the channel 145 on your Go TV and don't miss this. As you know, today in history, in our own way of increasing your wealth of knowledge. So we'll go on a break right now, and when we return with the headlines, do not go anywhere. Be right back. Welcome back, and now let's take a look at what is making the headlines today. We'll be highlighting the top stories from the pages of The Punch, to be led by me, myself, The Guardian, Triumph, and The Telegraph, Okikiola. My beautiful ladies, how are you doing?
We're
Doing
fine.
very
We're
well.
here.
All right, so now let's head straight to the headlines for this morning across the newspaper page. And I'll be starting with Triumph to take us through with the Guardian newspaper.
All right, so let us take a look at what is making headlines in the front page of the Guardian News. The screaming headline we have here: APC consolidates power as Umba ends PDP's 26-year reign in Enugu. This is a period where we are seeing a lot of people, going back and forth, moving from one party to the other, one reign ending, another reign ending. And we are going to see more of this, seeing that even the general elections is now coming up, um, before the time that we actually expected. So we are going to see more of this. And another story you would find above: PDP postpones the NEC meeting indefinitely. This is a story you would find in page 3 of the Guardian News. How ASU's action allegedly sabotaged FG's truce effort. This is a story you would find in page 3 of the Guardian News. Federal government approves new admission reforms, raises tertiary intake to 1 million yearly. This is another story you would find in page 4 of the Guardian News. And we have quite a number of stories here, but let me still try to take more of these stories to a story that you'll find, below the headline. IMF, Cardoso, isolate Nigeria from global uncertainty, raise growth prospect. Tinubu to ECOWAS, declare stolen mineral resources an international crime. This is a story you would find in page 3 of the Guardian News. Senate seeks repatriation of Nigerian women, children held in Libyan prisons. Quite a number of persons, quite a number of Nigerians that are held in different prisons, different places worldwide. But this is, from Libya. So my story of interest, which will be the last story that I will be taking, is in respect to the fact that 70% of women on death row in Nigeria are mothers, according to study. This one is a very sad story. It's not an interesting one, if you would ask me. So this is a very sad story, right? 70% of women on death row in Nigeria are mothers. I mean, we believe, or we know, that the role of a mother in a child's life is key. Not even maybe a child now, where you have quite a number of children, and not only, with the children, you have it with, a woman being a wife as well. So it is just a whole lot. It is a story that it bothers me a lot. And now we have 70% of women on death row in Nigeria are mothers. This study has revealed that women on death row in Nigeria face deep-rooted gender discrimination, with the majority suffering from poverty, limited education, and systemic injustice throughout the legal process. And according to the report, 47% of female death row inmates are between the ages of 18 and 35. One thing that always catches my attention is when I see that people who are criminals, people who are, people who commit one terrorism act to the other. It saddens my heart when I see that, maybe you find them more among the youths, because we are actually supposed to be the ones, or we should be the ones, that are trying to dictate or change the narrative for the future. But we are having a different situation entirely. So it really bothers me whenever we have these things like this. So I really hope that we don't have more of women or mothers as death row inmates, which brings me to also, quickly talk about the news that Oluchi mentioned yesterday, which is in respect to the fact that the okay, I want to say it in the exact words that I saw that story yesterday. Our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has, we know that he gives some people, pardon for their sin. And then there is this particular story, which is Mariam Sanda, one of the people that the president gave pardon. This thing is really, really, really sad, because I'm wondering, why will the president have to pardon people who are committing this kind of crime? We're talking about ex-convicts. We are talking about somebody who murdered her husband. Somebody who murdered her husband, stabbed the man, stabbed her husband to death with a broken bottle after accusing him of cheating. And this happened in 2017. Why is it that this particular woman has been granted bail? And according to the report, we were told that, the mother of this particular woman is somebody who is key in the society, in the political, the political field. So are we beginning to say that, oh, we can easily bypass the law? This is something that we should frown against. I am not going to agree to this. And I think the president should really, really, really change the narrative. I don't know if it's possible to take your words back, but I think that this thing is, there are other people in jail that, they've been wrongly accused. We are not releasing them. Look at the kind of criminal that we are releasing just because, the family is saying that they want to give them and hope for a new future. But I don't really know. Maybe you share a different perspective as regards that.
Well, for me, when a president makes use of his prerogation of mercy, because it's one of the things a president have in a country, right? I feel such honor should be given to people, at least, that have list of the crimes, right? I think we mostly have some even juvenile prisoners there. And aside even that, not even a die-hard criminal that had killed a lot of people, trying to give them a release out of bail and everything. We have so many people there that could have actually deserved that. But for the president doing that, he will have his best reason for giving them that kind of pardon, right? I'm not in his mind, so I wouldn't want to say.
It still doesn't justify. What are you saying? It still doesn't justify. I don't know.
No,
maybe Okiki
wait.
has different
When
perspective.
a president gives a prerogation of mercy, it is part of his duty. He has that law. He has that ability to do that. But to who he give it to, we can't decipher that. It is his own. It belongs to his hand. So if my own view is that, I want him to give it to people that at least deserve it or that committed the least crime, it's my own view. He is the president. He is the one that has the power to do that. And I feel that probably there should be like an interview session with the media rounds, right? To actually, let's hear his view, why he really picked or selected such people to give them that kind of pardon. Because I'm sure that he's going to have a tangible reason. He can't just do that without knowing that releasing such die-hard criminals to the country will also jeopardize the security and the safety of the citizens.
Goodness, I don't know if I could come in and
All
say
right.
a few.
Yes, okay, you can.
Okay, so I might share a different sentiment to this story because I went ahead to read who were these people, what did they do, why were they granted clemency, why were some people, pardoned, why were some people changed from, death sentences to life imprisonment. And I remember very well that while we're growing, when we watch certain movies, you see certain people who were released earlier than the approved dates that the court might have given them. Mm-hmm. And this could be due to, remorse. This could be due to how good they have worked in terms of education, in terms of vocational training, and all of that. And I've gone to the prison like 3 years in a row now, to the Kirikiri medium prison, and I've seen how well these people try to incorporate themselves back into society, either through education. Now that they are even enrolling in now university, there are some that are great at barbing and all of that stuff. So maybe I don't agree with some, but majority of the numbers that I've seen, majority of the pardons that I've seen so far has been justified. Some people have even served their sentences, and because they have not been able to get a court date, they have had to release them in some way. The person who killed or who murdered her husband, stabbed her husband, with a broken bottle, would have, said a few things. And if you look at from 2017 till now, she has also served reasonable amount of jail time, and also showed remorse towards what. So if we're fighting for justice, justice can also mean that they are actual people who are repentant or of their actions. There's also a reason when you pardon first-time criminals who did it out of certain reasons. So if I've checked my records and maybe I've never had any record of being arrested, being fined for anything, and during that process, something happened between my partner and I, and that's why they have, I have been jailed or I have been trialed at court, and I've served a number of sentences. In the prison, there's always a number of things that they will ask you to do or that they will train you to do in order for your sentences to either be reduced, in order for you to serve your sentence and go back into the society to become better persons. You
Yeah.
understand? So
Yes.
the majority of the things that I've seen are justifiable for me,
Yeah, I
and
totally
it's
concur with you. I wouldn't want us to drag this so much. So let's see what the New Telegraph have for us this morning.
definitely the New Telegraph has few stories, but I'll just you know start off with the headline. The headline reads: Tinubu secures fresh 2 billion naira investment in offshore gas project, records 8 billion naira commitment in energy sector. Nigeria needs 23 billion naira to end energy poverty, says Shetima. And it's quite surprising that Shetima is speaking about something. Let me not say for the first time, but you rarely hear him say anything. Well, on admissions, they're saying mathematics no longer compulsory for art students, says federal government. It says here that Abbas leads negotiations as reps move to end as to strike. Pardon me. And Anambra Guba, we have delivered all non-sensitive materials for polls, says INEC. Tinubu asked Senate to approve Amopito Omidoro as new INEC and FCC heads. On the World Cup qualifier, second chance for Eagles as Osime, makes it 4-0 against Benin Republic. And I'll say I'm very excited about that, although I've been very disappointed with the Super Eagles because it's just been 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. And then this one gave me that faith that,
But
okay, maybe
actually, that's not going
Nigeria.
to take us to the qualifying stage, right? It's just a playoff.
Yes, let's
But we
hope
are,
that
we
every
are
other
happy. We are
person.
glad.
Let's hope that every other person loses and then we are able to qualify.
Like
Let me just
seriously, we
I
can't.
agree with
It's
you,
it's it's all
Okiki.
gone. So that opportunity, it's all gone. We're just
so
moving to the playoff aspect. So we can't join them anymore. That's just so even the 4-0 that he had to write, it should have come handy when we actually needed it.
I can understand, but that's all I want to take on the story. Many stories really for me, but I just want to end it with the fact that I am putting it out there that faith some way, and this is me prophesying that
And I
some way
believe too. I'm with
Uh,
you.
other people will lose,
well,
I'll be
I
able to
like it,
try. So
Prophet
that's all
Okiki
I
this
have on the
morning.
Telegraph this morning.
That's
Thank you.
just it. Well, thank you for that story. Just to add that Nigeria is not going to the World Cup, right? We're just able to go to the playoff. So the 4-0 that we had could have come handy then, at least taking us to the World Cup. But that's just it. So let's look at the Punch newspaper this morning and quickly to look at the stories we have there. Above the masthead, it says Edu, this is coming from Edu, Align Finance Minister flown abroad for treatment. I'm going to come back to the story. And we have, beside that, court adjourned suit seeking to stop PDP convention. And along we have strike. National Assembly wades into ASU and federal government disputes. And beside the masthead, we have Enugu government, 3 cardinal reps dump PDP for APC. As the Punch newspaper leads with marketers blame deport as petrol nears 1,000 naira per litre. I'm not going to take so much story on the newspaper. We have so many. But looking at the first story that says concerning his ailments, Edo Finance, that's the finance minister, flown abroad for his treatment. Starting with, before I even go further into the story, He just want me to say that why is he flown abroad? What's happening to the healthcare system in Nigeria? Because as at during our October independence, we have the president coming out to say that the healthcare sector and even the education sector, it's now good. So if it is good, according to his words, why is the finance minister being flown abroad for treatment? He could have gotten to, at least we have good hospitals, private hospitals that are very expensive, where he could get, the best care according to our government, since we have the best healthcare system in the country. It shouldn't have been flown abroad. But let's go into the story. It says that the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, has traveled to the United Kingdom to seek medical attention. Multiple sources close to the development confirmed on Tuesday morning. So the reports was first released or published by the Western Post, which was confirmed by a source that said the minister might seek medical attention abroad if the need arises. And here it is, he has been flown to the United Kingdom. And it also says that Edun left Abuja for Lagos. That was on Monday night via commercial flight, which later departed for London abroad, a British Airways flight on the same night. So until his departure, the presidency officials who spoke to newsmen says that they had maintained that Edu was recuperating at his Abuja residence under the care of Nigerian doctors. And now, so the doctors, they were taking care of him there in Abuja. They could no longer give him the best treatment, so he had to be flown abroad. To tell you that we have so many lapses in the system, especially in Nigeria, our country. Because I usually wonder why a government official holding a very big post, high post, will come out to tell us that so thing is working, where even the commoners are not getting the best of it. So if this is just like a slap on our face, because if the doctors in Nigeria, I'm sure they could call the best doctors in the country, could not give him enough treatment that would require him to stay back, but rather he had to be flown abroad. This is just so disheartening. I was telling, was it Triumph or so, that I can't recall when last I heard probably the president of US was flown to another country to receive treatment, or let's say the president of, let's say, Ghana or even the UK, that they had to flown the person, they had to flow the government official out of their own country to receive treatment. So but here in Nigeria, it is something that we do. It has now become part of us that mostly when you are in the government office, you are sick, or you have a particular ailment, you have to be flown abroad to get the treatment. To tell you that the Nigerian healthcare system needs thorough survival, and it needs thorough attention. It needs to be given assistance, help, because they're crying, is lamenting. There was one time I had to go to a particular hospital in Lagos, a government hospital, and I was talking to Triumph concerning the bad situation I met it. Imagine a patient taking a chemo, being seated on a plastic chair. Like, I'm wondering, let me hear your thoughts, Okikiola. What can you say on this?
So personally, not to drag it so far so that we can have the best of our hot topic, is our health system, as you have said, needs proper, we need to dive deeper into what our health system looks like, and people who start to seek, what would I say, seek treatment abroad have to, especially our public servants, have to start, to explain to us what's the cause of the ailment, how bad is it, and why do they require external treatment with Nigeria's money. But let's just move on from that, so that our hot topic would, help us to really get the best of today. Thank you.
All right, so that's all we can take on today's papers, and I hope you've grabbed one or two information and also a part of the solution. But quickly, remember it is also a global hand washing day. So ensure that at least before you leave that office or before you leave wherever you've gone to this morning, ensure that you have your hand wash. So whatever you do, wash those hands, and with soap for two-factor authentication. And this is necessary, most especially if you have a any of the social media accounts, to prevent hackers from hacking into it. Same thing, you need to wash your hands to prevent germs or any other diseases that could have made contact with your hands or so. Anyways, let's go on a break and return with our topic for today. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to the show, and yes, we're gradually getting to the climax of today's breakfast show, and the topic is male feminism enough to address gender-based violence, right? And let's put some numbers to this. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 3 women globally, that's about 736 million women, have experienced physical or sexual violence in their lifetime. And here in Nigeria, the National Demographic and Health Survey, that's in 2018, reports that 30% of women aged 15 to 49 have experienced physical violence since the age of 15. These aren't just statistics. They represent daughters, sisters, mothers, real people whose safety is being compromised every day. So when we hear about male feminism, it sounds like hope, men stepping up to be part of the solution. But again, remember, the question is that enough? Let's start with what male feminism actually means, and it's when men deliberately support gender equality, not just in words, but in action. And it's about challenging toxic masculinity, speaking up against abuse, and helping dismantle systems that promote equality. And as well, we talked about that male feminism could also be referred to as pro-feminist male. In some school of thought to regard themselves as that way. And now I have with me still Okikiola and Triumph to join me in this hot conversation. So really, let's look at it. Really, will even having, let's say, 20 million of males supporting this ideology, will it really breach that in the system? Like, what's your take on what male feminism should look like in practice? Triumph. Do I have Triumph here?
Okay, so when I saw the story, I mean, I didn't even first think about the fact that, okay, having the male gender wanting to hold the mandate of feminism, right? So if you would ask me, my first reaction or the way I felt first about this is it really necessary? I mean, we understand that maybe both the male and then the female gender actually requires, quite the number of character building, character formation, mindset shifts to be able to understand that, oh, women are able to, I mean, this is against gender-based violence. the fact that, okay, women are able to do certain things, women should not be seen in certain ways, women should be given more platforms, women are actually like equal. So I think but now that we are having 10,000, I mean, this NGO coming to train 10,000 male feminists to lead campaigns against gender based violence, it makes me think about the fact that, okay, that means at least we can see 10,000 people or 10,000 men who are willing or who are ready to actually see the female or the other gender as, okay, do not do this, do not discriminate against the female gender. I mean, when I was reading the report, it was saying that, they are calling on Nigerian men to take an active role in the fight against gender-based violence. Saying, they said the struggle for equality and justice cannot be won with the men's involvement. And that is where I actually agree with what they're saying. Because I think if the men are not going to agree to what feminists wants to stand for, we will continue to have a problem. So I think that's an headway for, feminists, for the fact that, okay, male or men, 10,000 men coming together to believe and then follow and then support the movement of gender equality, gender-based violence. I think maybe it might be a great one.
All right. I would want Okikiola Jaloko to actually share light, because I could recall that when it comes to feminism, we have different types of feminism. We have feminism that are radical, not just to mislead our audience. When we say a male feminism, it could also mean that probably a male is supporting a system where we have more of the feminine gender taking the top lead in the country. No, we're not talking about the radical feminism now. We're talking about feminism that have to do with where everyone, they see everybody in the society as equal. So I want Okikiola, if you could share more light concerning this particular kind of feminism or feminists to say that the male is supporting.
So I think one of the things that I personally do not agree with the United Nations at large, and even personally, is the fact that we are fighting for equality. So my advocacy is for equity. Equity in the sense that we know that women have specific needs quite different from what men have. Now, if you now translate it into leadership, women bring a different perspective to leadership, and it's why there's so much clamoring for women taking up leadership roles in order to create balance, not to take over, but to create balance. And radical feminism, as you have mentioned, would take it to different lengths. So people have feminists under different classes. There are some people that they will say they are feminists, but they hate men. Some will say they are feminists, they need men supporters and allies. But if we take it back to the question, is male feminism enough to address gender-based violence? My answer would be that it is a good start, but not the complete solution. And not the complete solution because the end of gender-based violence will not will only come when equity becomes our everyday practice. I'll repeat that. When equity becomes our everyday practice, not just talking point. Every time we see situations where people are just naturally talking about women this, men that, women this, men that. But when we all understand our unique, issues, we probably will be able to understand each other better. So first of most times we ask how this can happen. We keep talking about education. Education, education, education. What are the things that are being taught? What are the things that are being said, in close gatherings? So how do we start to teach? Many times we don't teach boys empathy. We'll say, be a man, be a man, be a man. If the boy child is being vulnerable, we tend to say, why are you acting like a woman? Which, in that sense, culturally weakens the woman, right? Saying that a sign of weakness is being a woman. So if we start to teach boys that empathy is all right, for you to express yourself, for you to feel for the other party is all right, consent is very important. We have seen rape cases go up the ladder. Like it's unbelievable how many girls will tell you, if you gather 300 girls together, at least, I'm talking in the most minimum, half of them will tell you that they have faced, one rape issue or the other. So consent, we have to start educating boys about consent. Do not touch, do not speak in words that are very demeaning. Do not talk in a vulgar way where you are objectifying the woman. All those things. We should also start to talk about respect. Some boys are being trained to not respect women, saying that, okay, you are the head, somebody is the neck, and blah blah blah. So I keep asking, what is the girl's head for? And because we also, as a society, we also don't know how to, train people according to their age group. So it's like telling a 5-year-old that when you get married, this plate that you refuse to wash would affect you. The girl child at that point cannot relate to what you are saying. What's on the head of the girl child is, okay, play, do my assignment, okay, pick a few things, blah blah blah, like that. But if we start to teach age appropriate information, maybe we'll be able to also get, the best out of it. I hope I'm not talking too much.
Yeah,
Because
but
I'm trying to express fully what I understand by this male feminism and what feminism should be at large. Also, we should start to teach boys, accountability. And this is also extending this statement to the NGO that has decided to train 10,000 male feminists. 10,000 is a lot of numbers. So what they do with that number will also determine the effect that we're going to have. Is it going to be positive or negative? So accountability is a very big concern. No, there's no need for you to hide an abuser. If it's a brother, if it's a father, if it's an uncle, whoever it is that have abused somebody, women should not cover an abuser. Men should not cover an abuser. An abuser should or must face justice, if not for anything, for the safety of the victim that this person have, tampered with. So accountability is very important. Also, many times we try to put men against women, but this time around, I'm clamoring for collaboration. How can we collaborate with men, to work towards equity? How can we start to better inform men of our, needs and our wants and what we aspire to be and to do in collaboration, not against, them. God created a man and a woman for a reason, and also, defined what their needs, or what they are able to bring to the table. Let me use the common slang, what each party is able to bring to the table. So if let's say a woman is pregnant, what is expected of the man should be emotional and physical support. Let's leave the financial aspect out of it. So how can we ensure that men are present in terms of the phase where maybe a woman is facing that 9 months phase? How can we better inform men to be there for the women? So collaboration is a very big thing. There have been progress in terms of setting up gender-based violence locations in many places, in Nigeria. So that, I would say, has strengthened many reports and also tried to bring down the rate. But is it enough? I'm not sure, because our policies and even the enforcement of those laws are still lacking behind. You see a rapist, you go and report a case of raping at the police station. They'll tell you to pay this certain amount. Okay, who is the father of the rapist? Who is this? Who is that? That should never be the concern. So enforcement of our laws, when it comes to gender-based violence, should also be strengthened and ensure that they are applied. And lastly, I think media should start to tell the real story. You understand? We should start using our platforms just like what we are doing right now to start to reshape how masculinity should look like and how power should be portrayed. Not one suppressing one, but one working together with the other. And then at that point, I believe that male feminism will truly be, progressive when all of that happens. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, you've said a whole lot, even from the question you added to it and you've expanded. But before we continue, let's take a break right now. And please stay with us. You're welcome back from that short break. And yes, we're still on the topic, really asking if male feminism is really the goal in curbing inequality in the society. And this is leading me to a particular question to ask directly to Triumph. Okikiola has said a lot of things concerning training, educating our young children while growing up, and even instilling it in the society, going to the police station, even in schools, education, and including the media personnel, assisting in carrying out, ensuring that there is equality in the society. But this drives me, leaving this question to ask, is that really, can this really be that effective in a culture that has been eaten up, eaten down from the roots with this mindset of inequality among the male and the female? I could remember that there are even several books, several literatures that are talking about this issue of feminism, inequality in the society. I could recall in one of the so many books I've read, this an author, Eric Ibsen, A Doll's House. It's that book particularly talk about addressing a society where patriarchal society is dominated and the women are subjugated. So women are seen as a doll, as a puppet. So now I want to ask this question to Triumph, really. With the training, with ensuring that, whatever crime is committed, there should be a punishment for it, and even every arms of the society involved in this, can it really, really change the eating up culture? Because let me use the word that mindset of men against the women has been deteriorated, because we have most of them that have even had this innately segregation in their mind. Now, it is not about them showing it; it's already in their bloodstream. So, really, can it really change the culture? I can remember back then, in a society, in a family, where even the father will give less education to the females. Why? Because, the females, they will later end up probably in their maternal homes, in their marital homes, and some of them will even feel that, they can't take the name of the family forward. So, Triumph, do you really think with all these things Okikiola has said, it can really change the eating up culture of this in our society?
It is an eating up culture. It is an eating up culture. Now, permit me to also say that it is an eating up culture, not just, in Nigeria or in Africa, but it is something that has been for as long as always, there is a way people view each gender. There is a way people view when someone see a male gender, a female gender, there is definitely something that is going on in your head. There is something that is going on in your head about, the female, about the male gender. Now, as much as we would say that, okay, maybe for a start, 10,000 men, let us see, the mindset shift that can happen with these 10,000 men. However, let's not also forget that according to what reported, it says 35% of Nigerian women have expressed physical violence, and many more face emotional, sexual, or economic abuse. And when we talk about these things that happen, the people who inflict this kind of violence or inflict punishment, or women, not even punishment, because sometimes some of these women that have experienced certain things, not because maybe they did anything wrong, does not always happen with just the male gender. There are times, or there are sometimes you see situation where it is even my gender that is doing some unimaginable stuffs to another female. So when we talk about the eating up culture, it is beyond the male. It is beyond the male alone. It is even to the women, to also my gender. When everybody decides to see the female gender as the way they are or the way they should be, the fact that, okay, a woman can actually do so much. But my bother really is as regards the fact that these 10,000 certified male feminists that these people are talking about, honestly, let me say the truth. If you call 10 men and they all sit down together, at least three in that 10 men, they have a different perspective to what these people are talking about, which we cannot take away. So my own bother is that even these 10,000 that are the first to change, my question is, where do you see them? Are you sure these people are even interested? Because it is easy for us to say that, oh, they want to train 10,000. But if you call, I mean, okay, goodness, if you
Yeah.
call 10 men or 10 men and you have a conversation with them, they have at least three of them will have something. And I'm saying at least because you can even take that number and then you have it with maybe like seven of them that they have something to say about the female gender, saying that the female gender can never equate, saying that the
Yes.
female gender should not be in particular room, maybe in the rooms of politics. So I am bothered about the fact that are we even sure that these 10,000 people that we want to work with, how will the mindset shift actually happen?
Yeah.
Because it is these 10,000 people that will penetrate to a small level, the society.
Yeah.
But first, how do we deal with it? Because that's just it. I mean, it's easy for us to say that, okay, they are coming to certify. We've seen situation. I mean, people go to school, get particular certificates, but that particular thing that they are being certified for, they are not even good enough for it. They can't even represent it. So my own bother is that we really need to take care of this eating up culture. And it brings me to think that, okay, is it that maybe that is how it's supposed to be? Because if these 10,000 people, I will not agree with the fact that maybe all these 10,000 people, even after the training, all of them will change the way they view the female
So
gender or
true.
something.
So true.
So, how do we take care of it? Let's not just say that 10,000 men, 10,000 men. I mean, we meet with men and we talk to men every time. So, we know. I mean, I've seen even in this work, I've seen what people say, and I'm wondering that, okay, maybe that is how the male gender is, which is why the male feminist, the way the name sounds is even like very funny. So that is my own bother.
You know,
Honestly, if you ask me, okay.
I know that Okikiola has
Well,
a total view differently from this. So let me hear what you want to say.
let me just say that I'm also wondering what kind of training these men would be receiving. I'm also looking at what their impact or how their impact will be measured, because of course certificates will just be certificates for just for the cost of it, and the fact that would they be able to speak up? Would they have that courage to speak up where it's unpopular to do so? Where, just like you have spoken about eating up culture, would they be able to speak up when it's necessary, and they would not say, "Are you a man now? How will you be exposing, another
True.
man?" So for me, male feminism alone is not enough. And just like Triumph said, that the name sounds quite funny, but sometimes maybe we need to add those names to these things, where especially when we want to say menstruation, mental illness, we try to highlight men like the problem of it all. So let's just say that male feminism is a very vital part of the solution, yes, but of course it cannot replace structural change, because gender-based violence isn't just about bad behavior. It's about systems of power that excuse or enable them from different levels in politics, in leadership, even at the workplace. So yes, I agree that we want men to be feminists so that they can probably understand more what the female gender is about, the way they would call it. But more than that, I believe that I personally need them to be more consistent allies, men who call out injustice even when no one is watching. And I believe true male feminism is not about performance. Don't come and act who did it best for
Yeah.
us. It's about persistence. Pass it on, pay it forward. Whatever it is that you have learned, pay it forward so that other people can also learn for the good. Don't learn something, don't assume that you have learned something bad or you have learned a way to now tame women more and then pass it on to another person. Learn positively, and that is going to show in how even the men right now start to treat women at work, at home, and even in everyday conversation. So I believe that this would help us beyond these 10,000 people,
Yeah.
even amongst our brothers, our sisters also, telling them that men are allies, men are not enemies, and then men acting more like allies and not enemies will help us with this gender-based violence. And I remember very well that Shola said something that if anybody is caught, raping the other, either the female
Male or female.
raping the male,
Yeah.
male or female, they should just go straight to death sentence. And I don't know if I completely agree with that, but
Well,
I know that for you to think illy of somebody without consent and have your way with that person, of course, many people have died from forceful exposure to harmful things that some men and some women have exposed them to. So if you can think that way about another person, of course I would also expect that justice be properly served and
to
served
them.
well and
Yeah.
correct. That's all I can say.
Okay, all right. Just adding to it, and of course, no matter how long the training is going to take, even taking 20 millions of meals, is not going to really be that effective of changing the written culture in the society. So this is me saying it to everyone that, yes, I know male would like to feel, they want to feel at the top, they want to exercise their power and everything, but at the same time, I feel it is high time enough we have to work on the culture system, the culture mindset of every individual in a society. So if you even see, even in the Nigerian movies, even movies everywhere, from the media to the movies to whatever thing putting out there on the social media for everybody to watch, you can even see that in a way, hiddenly, it's even in there where we see the male folks trying to dominate the female, trying to create an imbalanced society. And also even in our local, down to our local family, every individual family. I've seen a family where they've given birth to male and female children, and you see that, they'll tell their male children, no, you don't need to sweep the room, you don't need to wash the dishes, it's meant for the females, we are your sisters. We need to imbibe this culture into our system. When I mean our system, our bloodstream, I'm not even talking about the society now, because it has to come within us before it can reflect out. It's not just the outward. I'll try to work on the outward approach or effect of it, but we need to work from inside. So every individual person in any society, whether a male or a female, mother or father, brother or sister, let's try to imbibe that culture within us. Let's try to also replicate that culture also outside, because that's when we can actually really have a balanced society. When recently or over time we've had where this STEM factor, where they appeal that more females should come into this particular sector, we could also have the male also doing the female work. There are some jobs or work that the males, they don't even want to go into that aspect. It's for the female. That's also what we call an inequality society. Whatever it is for a male, it's also for a female. So yes, and that's how we draw the curtains on today's conversation. Please do join us tomorrow. Stay tuned. Bye.